Ready for a deep dive into a trading edge that's not about some fancy algorithm or indicator? We're talking about the most powerful tool you have, your mind. This is all about mastering the psychology of trading.
Ah, the psychology of trading.
It's the key to making smarter decisions, managing risk, and becoming a consistently successful trader.
It's funny, we can get so caught up in the charts, the patterns, all those strategies, we forget the most unpredictable element.
Ourselves.
Ourselves, exactly.
It's like we said, you can have the best strategy in the world, but if your emotions are calling the shots, it's like trying to navigate a minefield blindfolded.
Blindfolded, yeah. And that's exactly what our source material for this deep dive points out, comparing trading to a battle.
Oh, it like
Not
that.
just against the market itself,
Right.
but against your own psychology.
It's so true. And that's what I think is so interesting, because that's true whether you're just starting out, you're a seasoned pro, wherever you are in your trading journey. Because we're all human, those emotional triggers, they can really throw a wrench in the works, even when we think we have it all figured out.
Absolutely.
And you know what? This source material points out that many traders experience their biggest losses.
Right.
Not from making like bad market calls,
Yeah.
but from letting their emotions dictate their decisions.
That's so true.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Have you ever made an impulsive trade based on like fear, excitement, something like that, rather than sticking to your plan?
All the time. And how did that go for you?
Right. Yeah. It usually doesn't end well.
It's like those emotions just hijack our rational thinking for a minute, and we end up making decisions that, in any other context, if we were thinking clearly, we would never make.
Totally. So, okay, let's unmask these emotional saboteurs that love to kind of like wreak havoc on our trading.
Yeah, let's name them.
Our source material identifies 4 main culprits.
Okay.
We're talking fear, greed, frustration, and overconfidence.
Oh, recipe for disaster.
And you know what? It's not like these emotions are always like, hey, look at me.
Right.
They can be sneaky
Yeah.
and kind of creep in when our guard is down.
Subtle.
Let's take fear, for example.
Okay.
You're about to enter a trade.
Yeah.
Everything seems right. You've done your research. It's all lining up. And then that little voice pops up. What if the market tanks? What if you're wrong? What if? What if? What if?
No doubts.
And suddenly you're frozen. You're second-guessing yourself. You're hesitating.
It is. Analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Fear makes us hesitate.
Yeah.
Doubt ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think the worst part about it is that it can often disguise itself as being prudent. Like, oh, I'm just being cautious.
Right. It's like fear is wearing this mask pretending to be your friend.
Exactly.
But really it's trying to like sabotage our success.
Totally.
And then on the flip side, we have greed rearing its ugly head.
Oh, yeah.
We score a few wins,
That's right.
maybe get a little taste of those profits.
I just like money.
And suddenly we're chasing that high. More, more, more.
More. Just one more trade. That's what greed whispers in your ear. Just one more trade. Just one more point. This time it's going to be huge.
Right. Yeah.
It reminds me of that saying.
What's that?
Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered.
It's so true. So true.
It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of a winning streak, right?
Yeah.
And just lose sight of our risk management principles.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so we talked about fear, greed. Those are kind of like two extremes.
Yeah, 2 big ones.
But let's not forget about frustration.
Oh, frustration.
This one can be a real killer,
Yeah.
especially after a string of losses.
Oh, for sure. This is where we see so much revenge trading. I'm going to make it all back right now.
Yes. Trying to force that win, make up for previous losses.
Yes. Throwing good money after bad.
The worst. And the thing about frustration is it clouds your judgment. You're not thinking clearly. You're not making rational decisions. You're letting your emotions drive the bus. And let me tell you something, the market can smell that a mile away.
Oh, yeah. It's like the market can sense our emotional state and knows exactly when to exploit our weaknesses.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we talked about fear, greed, frustration.
Right.
What about overconfidence?
Ah, yes.
This one can be a little less obvious.
It is.
But just as detrimental.
Sneaky.
What are your thoughts on that one? It's like overconfidence whispers in your ear.
It does.
After you have like 2 winning trades in a row.
You got this. You're invincible.
Oh, you cracked the code.
Throw caution to the wind. That's when the market goes.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Throws a curveball you did not see coming.
Yeah.
So knowing all of this, right, we've got these emotional traps lurking in the shadows, ready to kind of sabotage our trading. what can we actually do about it?
Right.
How do we cultivate this like unshakable emotional discipline?
Right. So it's not all doom and gloom, right?
That's
Because our
right.
source material lays out some really actually practical strategies
Yes.
to help us master our emotions and make smarter trading decisions.
Okay, good.
And there are things that you can put into practice today, no matter what your experience level is. It's all about shifting from being reactive in our trading,
Yeah,
right? Like emotion driven, to being proactive and disciplined.
I like that. So we're taking control back from those emotions. Okay, let's dive into those strategies. The source lays out 5 key ones. The first might seem kind of obvious, but it's the foundation for everything else. Having a rock-solid trading plan.
Yes, your trading plan is like your rule book. It's not just what to trade and when to trade it, but it's also how you manage your risk, what your entry and exit points are, all those things that you decide on when you are thinking clearly and logically, not in the heat of the moment when you're in a trade and everything's going crazy.
Yes, it's like having that pre-game strategy session, right?
Exactly.
With yourself. So you're not trying to make game time decisions while you're also riding the emotional roller coaster.
100%. And you know what? This ties in directly with the next strategy, which is automation. Automation is your secret weapon to combat those impulsive emotional trades.
Okay, automation.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit more about what you mean, like setting those stop loss and take profit orders in advance.
Exactly. That's it. When you set those orders ahead of time, you're essentially saying you're taking the emotion out of it. You're telling your platform, this is my plan, stick to it, even if I start to second guess myself.
Yes, I love that. It's like having that financial safety net in place so you can kind of like detach a little bit from the emotional swings of the market and just focus on the strategy.
Yes.
Okay, on to the next one. This one might sound a little unexpected for some traders, but our source material really emphasizes its importance. Mindfulness.
Yes.
What is that?
Mindfulness. It's all about being aware of the present moment. You're acknowledging your thoughts, you're acknowledging your emotions without judgment, but you're not letting them control you. See, trading can be so stimulating, even addictive. And our brains are wired to chase rewards and avoid pain. And that can sometimes lead to these impulsive decisions. So mindfulness helps us step back from that cycle, create some space between how we feel and how we act.
So it's not about suppressing the emotions, but it's more about becoming aware of them.
Yes, exactly.
Observe it. How are they influencing our decisions?
It's about developing that self-awareness. So, you can catch yourself when you're getting, all caught up in the emotional roller coaster.
Right.
Maybe taking a couple of deep breaths before you make a trade, stepping away from the screen for a few minutes, when things are getting really intense, or even developing a regular meditation practice. Just find what works for you.
Yeah,
To bring that mindfulness into your trading day.
I like that. Those little moments of pause can make all the difference. Okay. And speaking of creating space, our next strategy emphasizes the importance of limiting our exposure. Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Right.
It's much easier to stay disciplined and rational when you're not overtrading or risking more than you can afford to lose.
Absolutely. It's about staying in control. Which brings us to our final strategy, keeping a trading journal. Yes, your trading journal. I always say your journal, it's like that really honest best friend that'll tell you like it is, even when you don't want to hear it. It's where you track your trades, your thought process, how you were feeling emotionally. And that all those insights can help you identify patterns and improve your decision-making over time.
Our source material actually mentioned a specific platform called Lincfolio that has some great tools for this.
Okay.
But honestly, any system works.
Yeah, it's the act of...
It's the act of journaling
Yes.
that matters.
The key takeaway is that it's helping us see those blind spots,
100%.
those emotional patterns that might be sabotaging our success.
Yeah. Are you consistently breaking your rules when you're feeling greedy, overconfident? Do you hesitate to cut your losses when that fear creeps in? The journal brings it all to light so we can actually do something about it.
Exactly. And, trading is a journey of continuous learning and self-improvement, right? And it's not just about the wins and losses,
Right.
but it's how you navigate those emotional ups and downs.
It's the emotional journey
Yes.
that goes along with it, right?
Exactly. And speaking of ups and downs, our source material had some valuable things to say about navigating those inevitable winning and losing streaks.
Yes, because they can really test our emotional resilience, right?
Oh, 100%.
So let's talk about winning streaks first. Well, what's the biggest danger there?
It's so easy to let success go to our heads.
Right.
You have a couple winning trades and suddenly you feel invincible. Right.
I've got this figured out. We start taking bigger risks, ignoring our rules, thinking the winning streak will last forever, but
It won't.
it never does.
It never does.
The market has a way of humbling us, often when we least expect it.
It's like they say, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
There you go. So overconfidence can really be our downfall during those winning seasons. So it's so important to stay grounded. Stick to your plan. Remember that no streak lasts forever.
So important.
On the flip side, we have our losing streaks, which are also an inevitable part of trading. Everybody experiences them.
Right.
Everybody.
It's not just you.
It's not just you, yeah.
It happens to all of us.
It happens to all of us, but it's how we handle them that really separates, I think, the amateurs from the pros.
So how do we weather those storms?
Yeah.
Emotionally speaking. First and foremost, remember, you're not alone.
Yes.
Losing streaks are normal. They don't define you as a trader.
Love that.
The key is, again, to avoid making impulsive decisions based on fear or frustration. Stick to your plan, even consider reducing your trade size if you need to.
Right.
To kind of regain that confidence a little bit. And whatever you do, don't fall into that trap of revenge trading. Trying to make it all back at once because,
One trade.
it can be a recipe for disaster.
Yes. Stay calm, stay focused, stay disciplined, even when it feels like the market is working against us.
Exactly. Remember, trading is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yes.
So you got to be in it for the long game.
We talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Focus on the process, learn from those mistakes, and keep those emotions in check.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I feel like we covered so much ground, from unmasking those sneaky emotional triggers that we all face to equipping ourselves with those practical strategies for building that unshakable discipline that we all need to succeed.
It all starts with the mind.
It really does. So as you continue on your trading journey, remember, may the odds be ever in your favor, but more importantly, may your emotions be firmly on your side. Until next time.